Hello and welcome back to another episode of That Pop Culture Pod. I am one of your co-hosts, Juan Perez. Joining me today is my own personal Princess Donut, Hunter Crate. How are you doing today, brother?
Honestly, I'm casting a lot of fireballs and running out of mana constantly. But other than that, I'm doing great. Or I guess it's magic missile. I'm sorry, I've ruined it. Pod's
Ruined.
over. Pod's over.
Ruined.
I'm uninstalling Audible, deleting Dungeon Crawler Carl right now.
All right. Since we're starting with the jokes, I actually want to know how far are you in the first book so far?
I'm about 2/3 of the way through it. I have not gotten that much time to listen to it, unfortunately. I was pretty busy this weekend because my brother and his wife came out to hang out, so we were doing that. And then there was the big festival in the downtown, so haven't really had much time to listen to it, to be honest. So just our update. So far I've been enjoying it a lot. I know Juan has been really loving it because he's way ahead of me. Um, but I'm enjoying it a lot. I just haven't had that much time to listen to audiobooks, so I'm going to try and get all the way through it before the next one, and then we can convene about this. Just because I don't want to accidentally get any spoilers or anything.
Sounds good to me, brother. Um, I have a few updates of stuff I have watched and whatnot. Then, um, so starting about the day after our last one we recorded, me and Jess went to go see The Conjuring. Have you seen it yet? Have you been to the movies at all?
I have not seen the new Conjuring. No.
Okay. I I was pretty indifferent about it. I think Jess ended up liking it. It was very centered, focused around the daughter, years later. And I
Mhm.
think it kind of wraps up all the stories. I don't want to go too in depth then if you haven't watched it in case you're into those movies.
You can go in depth with it, but spoilers if you're gonna say anything to spoil it.
Okay, well
Um,
luckily it's been a few weeks, so it's not gonna be anything too crazy. If people wanted to see it, they probably would have. But there might be a few light spoilers, so just be prepared, guys. Um so it's, years and years later, towards the end of their careers. I don't even think they even go ghost hunting anymore, and now there's like their daughter's fully grown, and it's kind of like connecting from something that happened right as the daughter was being born, and then finishing out that storyline of why the daughter kind of was like, is the way that she is and deals with ghosts the way that she does. I wasn't a big fan of the actress, and I wasn't a big fan of the character because I feel like they focused a lot more on the Warrens instead of like the actual problems that were going on. I don't know. I mean, I like the two main characters. What Ed and whatever her name is. So I mean, it was nice because the two main characters are really cool. But like all in all, I thought it was a very mid um movie. So it wasn't like, I just know that in the last one I said I was going to keep people updated. I think Jess ended up looking at it. I mean, liking it. Like I said, it wasn't bad by any means. It just wasn't particularly the way I would have ended the franchise. But I'm pretty sure when me and Jess had seen it, she told me that they plan on making more stuff going forward. It just probably won't be centered around the Warrens at all. So I think that'll be kind of exciting. I'd like to see where that goes. Another thing we have seen recently is we went and seen the Demon Slayer, the
oh,
new Demon
nice.
Slayer movie at the drive-in in Flint the other day. I don't know if you're too caught up with Demon Slayer or if you even watch it. Do you?
I've seen some of the early stuff, but I am not definitely not caught up on it. But I have heard very good things about the movie.
Okay, so this is one of the first real animes me and Jess kind of watched together. So it's like it kind of it's kind of a little bit special to me because I felt like started to really get warm to the idea of anime after she watched this one. So we always catch up as soon as the season comes out. And we were fully caught up, and she specifically likes the blind character. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. And I thought we were going to get a little, like, his back. Well, I guess we did get his backstory in the last season. But she wanted to see him do more stuff other than just, like, teach. So I also wanted to go see this new Caught Stealing movie, which has, what is her name? Zoe Kravitz. Matt Smith and Bad Bunny in it, and I was like, oh, this looks really funny. It's like a bunch of mafias coming together and fucking up this one guy's life, and it looked really funny to me. So I was like, oh, I want to see that, and then we both want to see the new Demon Slayer. So we were able to go to Flint and watch both of those movies for $12, dude. So that was a pretty good deal.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. Just pop your own popcorn and bring it.
We weren't even gonna get popcorn, like, because we kind of I brought a cigar and a beer, and we had a little bit of snacks, and she had some pop. But I figured it was $12 to get in. It was empty. I was like, you know what? I'll go in and see how much everything was. I was able to get a pop and popcorn for another $12. So it's not even like that much of a, didn't even bust my balls that much, to be honest.
Yeah.
Compared to if you go to MJR, you get 2 pops and a popcorn, it's $25.
Yeah, that's how it is in the theater by us, is if Bailey and I go see a movie and get, like 2 popcorns and 2 drinks or whatever, it's like $40 or $50 total. Yep.
That's how it is at MJR too, which we only ever go on Tuesdays, so it's like the tickets are non-existent basically. They're super cheap, so I tend not to care. But we basically watched 2 new movies for $4 a piece. I was like, you know what, I'll buy something to try to like support. It's a drive-in. It's not like they're doing crazy business anyways. So I was like, you know what, I'll try to support them. And then the popcorn was absolutely incredible, dude. And it was $12. So I was like, you know what, I'm okay giving them a little bit of extra money to keep something like this around, because I don't particularly like the drive-in, but I found this time was a little bit more enjoyable. It's probably because I was with Jess, and it's like we just have fun wherever we go, and then we can kind of be a little annoying and loud because we were like locked in our car and we weren't disturbing anybody.
That's the best thing about the drive-ins, is that you can actually kind of be you can have more fun, and so I like the being locked into the movie and like you can't use your phone and you're just sitting there or whatever is a nice, especially for like some longer movies like Nosferatu and Killers of the Flower Moon, when we saw that and stuff like that, are good ones for that kind of theater. But it is a lot more fun sometimes to be able to engage in commentary with whoever you go with, or react to it and not feel bad about disturbing other people.
Exactly, and I'm one of those people that I prefer to do that, because I remember when we seen Killers of the Flower Moon, which talk about a long fucking movie. That was what, 3 hours?
I think a week, business week.
Business week. That was the one thing that I thought was a little cool about that, is I remember there were people around us, which was actually kind of annoying because it was the only people who were in there were the only ones that were around us. But I didn't feel like too bad interacting with you while we both interacted with the movie, because that is my favorite way to enjoy it. Is I love going to the movies, but I prefer when it's empty, and then I can kind of interact with whoever I'm with as we watch it.
Yeah,
but yeah, like this was very
shutting up if
like
I have a good joke loaded up too.
True. Ain't that the truth?
It's like the freaking meme of the guy that's like his face is beat red and all of the veins are in his neck or whatever.
Oh yeah.
That's me when I've got a joke loaded up, but the theater's crowded and I don't want to piss everyone off. And then I say it anyway.
Well, see, that is why I love watch it. That's why we have seen quite a bit of movies together at the movies, because that's exactly how I rock and roll too.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun to be able to shoot the shit.
That's why I think as long as it's not too new of a movie, I feel like going on Tuesdays is another pretty decent time to go to the movies, because everybody's definitely going on the weekend. And then obviously the people who work weekends or want a little bit of a cheaper deal are going to go Tuesdays, but it's always significantly less busy as long as the movie didn't just come out. Like if it comes out on a Thursday night and then we go to that following Tuesday, I mean, that might be the only day people have even had a chance to go see the movies yet. So those tend to be busy. But if you wait like a week or two, oh, dude, it's so amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, there was one movie me and Jess went and seen. I'll get back to Demon Slayer and Caught Stealing in a second. But there was one time me and Jess went to the movie theater. I think it was for Deadpool the second time we went. I can't remember specifically. But we were only in there with 2 other guys. So it was an entirely empty theater except for 2 other guys. And then they shushed me when I said something to Jess. And it's like, motherfucker, you don't have to sit right fucking next to me. Like, there's this entire goddamn movie theater. If you think I'm being annoying, then fucking move. I remember that really pissed me off, dude.
Yeah, it is fun. I don't understand that, to be honest, because it's like I do prefer like most people to be like in the middle front of the movie theater, but it's just like there's so many rows, and it's we've had similar things where like someone sits right behind us when it's like Bailey and I and like maybe two other couples in the theater. And it's like, why are you sitting right behind us?
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's just that is something that really, really, really pisses me off. And like, don't get me wrong, like if there's a bunch of people in there and I'm sitting there laughing my ass off and screaming at Jess and spitting popcorn in her face, yeah, I get it. Shush me. I'm being a prick. You know, phone goes off. I mean, none of that stuff ever happens, but like phone goes off, any of that shit, I get it. If you got to be like, hey, dude, chill the fuck out. But like,
Right.
let's be honest. If it's only 4 people in a 100-person theater, don't fucking shush me because I will air this goddamn place out. That is ridiculous. I
Yeah.
fucking hate that. So, anyways, we went and seen Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer was the first one on, which it is a 2 hour and 40-minute movie. So it was fucking long, dude. And it was hot because I thought it was gonna get cold, and I had the heat on before the movie started, and it never ended up really getting cold. So that was annoying. But anyway, so we were really excited, and there were some pretty good fights. Kind of off the bat, they just go right into it, and I'm a big fan of that. I don't need none of the lead up. I don't need none of that foo foo. Just like let's get straight to it. But I will say that it was a little long, unnecessarily, because a lot of the main stuff ends, and then there's still like another 30 minutes at the movie, like of the movie, and it's because they're going into a story about a character that's not really essential. And it's not even that the story was bad and that you don't care. It's just they told it in a way that didn't need to be as long as it was. Like, when they're not really, it's not even that they're adding stuff that's unnecessary. It's just they're telling it in a way that just doesn't seem like it's the most efficient way to tell you something. You know what I mean? Like, have you watched anything where you feel like you could have gotten that information quicker without losing anything from the scene?
Yeah, definitely. Or just entire scenes could be removed sometimes too. That's
Nosferatu.
not true. That one, every scene was important to me personally to live out my
Every
dream
scene.
of watching vampire shit. Through a very goth camera lens.
True.
No, yeah, I feel like that. I think I've talked about this before, but that's how I felt about the Wicked movie. Also,
Okay.
is like I liked it. I thought it was pretty good, and the visuals were good. Music obviously
Me too.
was great because the musicians are all incredible that were in it or whatever. But I really felt
Yep.
like they could easily have cut out at least 30 minutes of that movie, and no one would notice.
The last song I felt like dragged on so ridiculously long, and it was completely unnecessary, especially because it's a part one of two.
Yeah,
Seemed
that's
very unnecessary to me.
if it was the whole movie and it was that long, I would have been fine. It wouldn't have bothered me. But
Yeah.
knowing that there's probably going to be another 2 hour and 45 minute half of the musical, it was just like, oh no.
Yeah, which I mean, I get it because they're basically doing the entire Broadway thing into a movie, so that's why it's going to be so long. But I know exactly what you mean. Like the last 15 minutes of that movie is unnecessarily long, and it doesn't actually do anything for the movie
Yeah.
or the impact or whatever. But that's sort of how it was with like Demon Slayer. Is like they were telling the story of a character without ruining anything. I don't think you would care because this character isn't particularly important, anyways. Which is another reason why I thought it was unnecessary. But like the story's good, and it's like you're actually invested in what's going on, and then the main thing happens in this guy's backstory, and you're like, okay. And then his rebuttal to that happens, and you're like, okay, that's perfect. Let's end this movie. And then you have like another 15 minutes, and it's like, dude, you already did the whole thing that you needed to do. Like, why are we still doing this? Like, I was looking at Jess, and I was like, I have to pee. She's like, I've had to pee for 30 minutes. And I'm thinking in my head, oh, 30 minutes is when the scene started, and it's a scene that doesn't need to be in this fucking movie. Oh my god, it was really frustrating. But it was an amazing movie. Absolutely amazing movie. Great character growth, and I really recommend it for anybody who likes Demon Slayer. And if you're not completely caught up, I would say the majority of what is in this movie, you could probably just watch the newest season, and then you could go into this movie and get a pretty good gist of everything that's going on if you don't feel like watching an entire anime. The only other thing I wanted to cover before towards the end, because I'll talk about sports stuff at the end, is we seen that Caught Stealing movie too. Like I said, it's got Zoe Kravitz, Matt Smith, and Bad Bunny in it. And I don't even know who this guy is. I guess his name's Austin Butler. I think he was in the
Dune.
Elvis movie. I don't know, but it was actually really funny. As a really funny action movie that was kind of gross at times. It was honestly just like one of those movies that I just felt like was just genuinely like good. Like everything about it was just like really, really good. Like it's an action movie, so you don't gotta expect too much out of it. But I mean, if it's on like Netflix or HBO or something and you see it, it's called Caught Stealing. Definitely check it out when it goes to streaming because it's a really good movie. The thing that wasn't. Ooh, never mind. I can't say that. What's that?
I do like Austin Butler and Matt Smith are both very good.
Matt Smith is so good.
Yeah. Austin Butler was an absolute killer in the Dune movie playing Fade Rotha as well.
He plays Fade Rotha. See, I knew I didn't like him.
Yeah, he does.
I knew I did not like him.
I have the perfect picture for the podcast now. Hold on.
Okay, definitely send it to me.
Oh, amazing stuff.
Yeah, I thought he was mid overall. And I just you sent on Discord.
I did just send it.
Jesus Christ. He looks like Neo at the beginning of The Matrix and or a penis.
A little bit of both. It plays a very convincing Fade Rotha. Is honestly one of my favorite parts of Dune Part 2 is he is I didn't know that he's who I wanted to be Fade Rotha, to be honest with you, but he sold it for sure.
I did not know he was in the Dune movie. God damn, look at him. That is a look.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I will
going
be
for.
posting these pictures in the Instagram so you guys can refer to that as you listen. That is a wild look, dude. That is unhinged. Him screaming at the camera like that, like I genuinely, like I want him to fail. Like that
might
is
be my
horrible.
new Discord icon.
Oh my god.
That's me playing deadlock when my teammate can't hit a shot.
That's oh yeah, that's actually pretty good. That's actually pretty good. So sorry I derailed us on that for a second, but literally people need to see that. That's crazy if they've never seen the movie.
Yeah, it's also
and if you've read the book and seeing that is wild.
It's also really funny because he's that actor is kind of like a heartthrob right now, Austin Butler. Like a lot of people think he's very handsome, but whenever I think of him, I just think of him playing Fade Rotha, and I'm just like, yeah, he is very handsome when he's bald with blacked out contacts and he's screaming about killing Atreides. Like, yeah, that's pretty hot.
You actually want to know something kind of funny? When I'm looking at him screaming, he kind of looks like what Matt Smith looks like in Caught Stealing. He looks just fucking like him. I'll post the picture for you. Oh my god. He literally looks exactly like what Matt Smith looks like, except Matt Smith has a mohawk. That's fucking hilarious. Okay, so that's me getting caught up on everything that we've been doing. Obviously, we're also watching Wednesday right now as well. Oh, other quick thing. Almost done with Wukong, so I'll have a final review when I'm done with that.
Nice.
And finally started Mafia Old Country. What have you been up to, brother?
Well, I was gonna ask a quick question. Are you still enjoying Wukong about the same amount? Did the bosses still hard? Did it come back around? I want the midpoint review here to see how you're feeling before you finish it.
Okay. I genuinely do believe that it is probably look at the Discord. I genuinely do probably think that is the absolute best Souls game ever, and that's not Elden Ring. It is so fucking perfect. And every character is absolutely incredible. Every time you finish a chapter, you get this anime cutscene typically. One of them was a music video and it was like more 3D. And another one was a very, very like 2D old style Asian art style, like you would see in a picture book. And then the last few have been anime style. And I didn't really realize this when I first started. Well, it was because there wasn't a connection yet. every one of these animes with music behind them, because they're all technically called music videos, which you can watch from the home screen, they all have something to do with the story that you're doing. So, like, one of them was this guy who rescues a fox. And then he's dreaming, he ends up falling in love with it. And he has, like, this whole life story, and then they die together. And then he wakes up, and then the fox wakes up, because it goes back to him being, like, an actual fox and not the woman that he fell in love with. And which would make sense if you play the game that Yogwai are basically people that can also transform into animals. That it's not as weird as it sounds when you play it in the context of Asian mythology. So he ends up killing the fox for some stupid ass reason. He like freaks out on the fox and kills it. And then you have an actual side mission in the story where you find the dead body of the fox and, help it along in its next journey of what was going on in the context of the story. It's fucking amazing, dude. And like one of them was this pig guy falls in love with this woman. And then it ends up being that the pig guy is one of the guys that helps you out on missions, and the woman is one of the antagonists of the arc. It's seriously so fucking good. And the bosses were really hard there for a minute, and then they got way too easy. I was basically not even two trying bosses. Just every time I find a boss, even if I don't have any spells, if I'm running low on potions, I could just go in and kill the bosses. That has slapped me in the face in the last 30 minutes of the game. Like, I'd say maybe hour of the game as I've been exploring more and more. I've definitely reached that end game difficulty where I'm sure the bosses will start getting a lot easier as I put another hour or two in, because like I said, I'm towards the end. But yeah, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was telling Jess yesterday, these bosses have been putting me in my fucking place. Like, I was getting pretty cocky there for a minute, and I'm just like, ooh, another one down, another one down. And that has completely changed, where I'm like, all right, babe, trying again. All right, I'll go again. I don't know how I'm going to beat him, but I guess I'm going to give it another shot. Like, they've definitely been putting the beat down on me, but I think because I took a break after I beat 3 stray bosses in a row with no checkpoint, so that was kind of annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But like 3 stray bosses in a row without a checkpoint. When I finished that third boss, second try or third try, I don't want to act like I'm over here not having any problems. I think it was like my third or fourth try. I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to take a quick break. And I think I'm going to take maybe like 2 or 3 days off, because I don't feel like I'm getting like exhausted with it or anything like that. I get really big. I get like big depression when I'm finishing a game I really like. And like I said, I'm getting pretty close. But also, I think that if I just keep grinding through it, I'm going to maybe lose a lot of the point of like what is enjoyable about it, like the storytelling, the stuff. Because I was telling Jess, I was like, these areas are starting to get really big. And if you don't have a horse, that honestly is kind of miserable. So I think taking a little bit of break will make me traversing these bigger areas not so, it won't be so miserable because I'm not doing it back to back to back. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Sometimes it's nice to break up big games like that with like a break for another game, or like a lot of the time if I'm playing a solo player game, I like to have a multiplayer game I can kind of fall back on to break it up, because I do notice even if I really love a game, sometimes I get very single-minded about finishing it or getting to certain content and stuff like that, and kind of loses some
Yeah,
of the spark of the game, or like the desire to explore and like the feeling of being immersed or whatever is slowly kind of replaced by just me being a completionist and wanting to finish the game. Um, so yeah, I definitely know what you mean. Sometimes if you take that like a week off or whatever, or a little while, however long, and play something else and kind of get fresh eyes on the game again, it kind of remakes you appreciate what you originally really liked about the game before you kind of hit that point.
exactly. That's kind of what I think I'm just going to take just these few days off. I mean, the Lions play tonight, so I don't really want to be getting my ass whooped while the Lions get their ass whooped. And Mafia Old Country, which just got me for my birthday, that is a very 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 short game. I think if I were to 100% it, it's 18 hours. And I don't like doing the sort of collectibles like we've talked about already. We don't need to beat it over the head. But like where you just have to go and find 50 newspaper clippings, 25 order clipping, like little stuff like that. Like that doesn't interest me because it doesn't do anything for me. So like I'm expecting that this game's only going to take like 15 hours. So what is that? 3, 4 days, 5 days maybe if I don't have a lot of time one day. But Wukong, which I think is very weird because I looked at like what the playtime of it was, and it says 35 hours. And maybe that's just if you go through boss to boss with a light exploring. But like you were saying, like a completionist, when you really, really like a game, you kind of want to explore every area you can to get the most out of it. There's no way it's 35 hours unless you aren't exploring areas really, because I probably am like 35 in now, and I'm at the beginning of the 5th out of 6 chapters, and I have 2 more secret areas to do. So I don't know where that number's coming from, but dude, it really is a fucking massive game. Um, like I said, I'm sure you can make it a lot shorter if you don't explore, but it's one of those also very beautiful games. So I think that it's something that for somebody like you, because I know me and you like Elden Ring for literally probably the exact same reasons, like everything about it, we probably would have in common. This is gonna touch a lot of that. I don't want to say nostalgia, but like that itch. Like, other than the fact that there's no horse, and I think that is probably the biggest problem with this game, is I think there should be specific areas where you have a horse. There's no way to like get around quickly, so that can make a little bit of it dredge up. But also, the first few times you do it, you're like, this is fucking incredible, man. And I think the sways in difficulty, I think I genuinely like that more. Because, like, Elden Ring, when you get to end game, most of the bosses are pretty easy, other than, like, the except few, like a Melania, the Black Knife, and then the end boss. But, like, other than that, the rest of them are pretty easy. This one, like I said, you kind of go in waves where you get to a really good point if you're doing your exploring and getting your items. But then a boss comes in and it smacks the dog piss out of you. Like, no, 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 no. That's not what we're doing, brother. So I kind of like that, man. I really do. Like, I don't want something to be too overly hard and, like, you just have to play this, like Sekiro, where you have to play the same later bosses 85,000 times and you just get lucky that one time to proceed. This is more so like the bosses are hitting harder because, you haven't upgraded your armor in a level or, in a chapter or two. You haven't upgraded your weapon in a chapter or two. So they're hitting harder and you don't know what they're doing because now some of these bosses are starting to throw in different types of, not attacks, but like, like poison, electricity,
elemental
stuff
damage.
Like that. Exactly, elemental damage. Like in the beginning of the game, you get like maybe the occasional boss that does 1 sort of damage. Now they're starting to really double up on me. Like I said, dude, it just really smacks you and it keeps you frosty, and I like that. I genuinely think it's amazing, but it is definitely a longer game, and if you're not in the mood for a longer game, you probably won't enjoy it as much. But if you have the patience, or if you have like 1 or 2 games you're playing at the same time, this is definitely a good one to throw in the mix, because then you're not going to get exhaustion on it, and then you can really... I just think the story most stories in Souls games are, at your own discretion. Like, if you want to get the story, you can. This one's a little bit more flamboyant with it, and I think it's worth it in every way. I genuinely love it, dude, and I hope you play it eventually. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it looks like a game I would enjoy a lot, especially because I like Elden Ring's probably my favorite Souls game because I like how much more of an RPG it is than some of the other ones.
Yeah.
Like, obviously they all have those elements with like the items and the builds and everything, but just like how much more of a true RPG game it is. And I feel like Wukong does a good job of that as well from what I've seen.
Oh yeah.
It's on my radar, but it's probably one of those games I'm not going to play till I upgrade my PC's graphics card, because I'd really like to enjoy it in all of its glory instead of like cranking down the settings, and trying to play the game or whatever, just to play the gameplay. Absolutely. But it seems like a good experience sort of game, so it's definitely on my radar, but it's probably not going to be one soon for me, unfortunately. But I'm excited to see what you think when you finish
on there
it.
Eventually. I'm sorry, I cut you off. What was that?
I was gonna say I'm excited to hear what you think of it when you finish it all up.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited too. Hopefully, if I'm lucky, I can maybe try to have a review next time we record, but if I don't, I'll at least have a good idea of what the end story is, and I think that'll be exciting to maybe give to you like what I think it is, and then when I finish it, what I find out what it is, because it really, like you said, it's just a little bit more RPG. You're getting a more intrusive story. I mean, like I said, with any Souls game, you can ignore it if you don't really care. You could skip stuff. You can not really, if you just want to fight bosses, you can get that. But like, if you are, when there's a world that interests you, a very pretty world, something that you could tell somebody put time in and love into, I feel like that always makes you a little bit more interested. Like how a good story might make you less interested if a character isn't good, like in a book standpoint. Like how a good character will make you more interested in the story that they're involved in.
Definitely.
It's like that sort of thing.
I think, yeah, I definitely think that it also makes it more relatable, because I feel like everyone can relate to feeling really invested in something,
Yeah, absolutely.
even if it's not, necessarily that you make video games, but everyone knows the feeling of really giving something your all and like seeing the outcome. So it gives you an extra appreciation for it that you can relate to.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think a lot of it is. And like obviously me and you, like in the relation aspect of it as well, like how you can relate to something. So it's like to be able to tell a story. Well, I think the human condition, no matter where you're from, has a lot of similarities, no matter what your culture is, no matter what your time frame in history is. Humans are just humans. So like whoever wrote the story and how it was told originally and how it's been adapted, a lot of it also still just kind of crosses over to like what like how you even feel. Like one of the things I wasn't like one of the things that me and Jess found out as we were listening to people's dialogues and we watched one of the music videos in the game is like how this guy, like I said, it's a pig falling in love with like a spider woman. Obviously sounds pretty crazy if you're looking at it from the top aspect of it, but like also about how their differences changed them and how they weren't able to make things work out the way that they did. Like everybody can relate to stuff like that, and that's like another reason why the game is so good. Like Cyberpunk, obviously it's a cool futuristic shooter game. It's fun for everybody. There's like multiple different playstyles, but also like a lot of people understand what it's like to be poor and what you would do to get out of that poverty. Like there's just like things that make it relatable that a lot of people can relate to, and that always makes people more interested in stuff like that. Any sort of art, whether it's like book, movie, video game. I'm just saying, like, these are one of the things that I think everybody can relate to and why the game is so good to me.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with the Wukong mythos in particular. I do know some about it, but I've heard it's a pretty good telling of the story as well as like it's respectful to the source material for the most part, and people enjoyed the that knew a lot about it still enjoyed it, because sometimes you know a lot about something, and then when you get something that's like a piece of content related to something that you're really fixated on, it's easy to notice all the things that are wrong with it.
Yeah, definitely.
And it seemed like a lot of people who were familiar with the story still did like it, so big praise for a game like that, I feel.
And I'm sure the differences were still good too because it's written very well. But like you were saying, like the differences, like Harry Potter, the Harry Potter books, I've read them like 5, 6 times. Love them. Absolutely incredible, amazing to me. The movies are vastly different. And even though the movies are absolutely incredible as well in their own way, you definitely always know, like, oh, well, that sucks. That wasn't in it. Or, wow, they cut this out. Like, you can always tell the differences, even if it is still a good adaptation itself. And I think that is always good and bad either way. Oh, did you see the picture of Matt Smith I posted in the
I
Discord?
did. That was pretty good.
It looks just like him. They look the exact same.
Same
I
guy.
love it. Same guy. Same guy.
Same guy.
So, what have you been delving into before we hop off?
Um, I have been mostly back on my deadlock grind.
Oh yeah.
And they introduced a lot of new characters, which added a lot more variance to the game, and they've reworked the whole item system fairly recently. Um, so I've been playing a lot of that, and also I've been just like absolutely there's some things that have been kind of clicking for me a little bit more. Even I've been consistently doing pretty well, but there's just like some things I've gotten a lot better at that have really been paying off. So I've been playing a lot of games and doing really well, which is kind of makes you want to play more.
Absolutely.
And my little sister plays with me, and she is very good with the character she likes to play, and one of my favorite characters that I've been learning and really working on like my build and everything with synergizes super well with her character because basically, my character's really good at doing damage, especially from far away, but not necessarily good at finishing people. Whereas her character is super mobile and good at like doing some burst damage and killing people. So I just like start picking them apart from really far away, and then she can go in and just finish them off.
Okay.
So we have a really good synergy going on when we're playing, which makes it a lot of fun because we kind of have developed a coherent strategy for the early parts of the game that often lets us get ahead, which lets you do a lot of stupid stuff because of the type of game it is. So that's been fun. I don't think we already talked about going to the Renaissance Festival, did we?
No, I don't think we've had time.
Yeah, we went to the Michigan Renaissance Festival, which was a lot of fun. It was enjoyable, but very dusty and very hot.
Very hot.
The I'll send a picture of to you in the Discord of my costume to post on there too. I dressed up as a warlock, slash black wizard. That was a good
Slash king.
time. Yeah, slash king, king of the witch king, if you will. Um, I got a cool new pipe when I was there. Got some tea, got some honey. Nothing too crazy, but it was a good time like it usually is. But the lines were tough.
Yeah, that killed the vibe pretty hard a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's always been pretty popular, but I have noticed since the post-COVID comeback, it has gotten very popular, and they almost need to like expand or something. Because every time I've gone since it came back after COVID, it's been really crazy. I've also been longboarding a good bit more lately because we found a cool trail pretty close to our house. So we've been doing that a lot, and it's got some nice ups and downs. So that's been a good time. And when I'm trying to work through Dungeon Crawler Carl still, I recently, as of the last couple days, just started playing Hearthstone Battlegrounds with Ryan again, which has been a lot of fun. It's kind of like a card game deck builder sort of thing that's a free game, but it's very fun. I get very addicted to card games pretty easily. So not that that's
Oh,
too
surprise, surprise! The magic guy
yeah.
does.
So not too crazy in that way. But there's new seasons and they rebalance the cards because it's a virtual game only or whatever. So they rebalance the cards and change what's around and what synergies there are. So I haven't played in a couple seasons, so it was a lot of fun to jump back in and see all the changes. Same thing with Deadlock. One of all the complaints I have about live service games, one of the cool things is sometimes when you come back to them, they're just so fresh to you after not playing for a while.
Yeah,
Which is really nice because it's you can find a way for it to recapture what you originally enjoyed, even if it's different. Yeah, I've been on a big MOBA kick because I've been playing some League of Legends lately with some of my friends as well.
Damn, you're hitting all of the different types of games.
I know. I've been playing some League, and I really have re-solidified the fact that in every video game I play, I love damage over time characters so much, like poison or bleed abilities and stuff like that, because I just like
Me too.
it really clicked for me that like all of my favorite characters in Deadlock and all my favorite characters in League and most of my favorite like builds for like the Hearthstone game are really like slow burn, slow kill you kind of things like that, like bleed or poison or whatever. So yeah, I know what I like. um
Well, touching on that topic real quick before you move on to tell us more. I have realized, I think Diablo 4 was kind of my genesis of that. Damage over time, I think is really fun. I think it's really good for crowd control, especially as if you're a support character.
Definitely.
And then when Overwatch 2 came out, I like to play support, especially on these older games that have a bunch of sweats. But something you can do, I don't mean to bring this back to Wukong, that's 100% related. But something I've noticed I've been having a lot of fun with in that sort of game style is you could kind of do like, not summons, but more so clones. And then the clones can go into the danger and then pick away at the boss's health. And then I have there's a special vessel that does that as well. A vessel is kind of like a super special power, so not like your special heavy attack, but like a special power, and then it picks away. And I think it's really fun and also kind of satisfying, especially when you're playing against something hard. Say it's online, you're playing against a really hard team, or it's a single player game and you're playing against a hard boss. It's really satisfying sitting back and staying just out of reach of their attacks and still being able to do damage to them. Like, it really hits a certain spot of, like, I'm better than you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so fun to play that sort of thing. And on the multiplayer aspect, I just really love being a support character and helping the people around me by doing stuff like chipping away, helping get the objective. That's always been a really fun aspect to me.
Yeah, part of it for me, all of that I completely agree with, but part of it for me also is I think one of the single best feelings in video games, and nobody think too deeply into this about who I am as a person,
Think very deeply.
is when somebody thinks that they have escaped and then they die to that last tick of poison or that last tick of bleed or whatever when they're just out of reach, like you can't hit them again or whatever, and they're just about to escape and then they die to the poison tick or the bleed tick or whatever it may be, is like one of the most satisfying feelings in video games. Like, you planned out the damage perfectly, you know, like and then it's just like, oh, I got away, but it's like, no, you were already dead. You just didn't know it yet.
You sound like the AI from Dungeon Crawler, Carl. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's because, like, even all the way back when I first started playing League of Legends as like a freshman, my favorite character has always been Teemo or Fizz, and both of them have a damage over time ability. And it's just like, for Teemo, it's really funny because as a character, he puts down little mines that are mushrooms that when you walk into them, they're invisible, but when you walk into them, they poison you. So it's just like someone thinks that they've escaped or they killed you and they think that they got away free and they hit the mine and die. It's like, it's so funny, and it's just always a satisfying way to defeat someone in a game like that.
Definitely think a little into this, guys.
Do not think
Just
about this at all.
think a little bit about what you know about Hunter so far, and then it kind of starts to connect some dots.
Are the dots?
But no, I do get exactly
cool
what you
guy?
mean. Like, when I was playing Diablo 4, and then I would do like a sort of like a necromancer blood damage sort of thing, where you kind of like, you know, you really infect them, and then they keep doing, like, hitting and hitting. I love that, like, when you're on the edge of death fighting one of those things, and then it's just like it dies to your blood damage, and you're just like standing over it, like, how the tables have turned. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that, dude. That's always really fun.
Yeah, I really like. I think it's Diablo. What Diablo is it? I think it's 3. Yeah, Diablo 3, the Witch Doctor was one of my favorite characters, and he had some poison stuff that he could do as well as all of his summons. And second to damage over time, I do love characters who can just summon a bunch of spiders or zombies or whatever it may be. Which, you know, this is why also every time I play Dungeons and Dragons, pretty much I play as a warlock, so I can do damage over time abilities and have summons, familiars, etc. I'm a simple man.
Yeah, it was never a play style that I had really delved too deep into, but like over the last few years, I've been trying to diversify, and that has been very fun. It's amazing, like, when you have no summons or familiars with you, and then you walk into a group and then start picking away at them, and then they just start coming back as your minions, and you're just like, your best friend's turning on you. Excellent. Excellent. More.
Pyramids, fingers, excellent.
Yeah, dude, literally. You get it.
Other than that, although, I have been enjoying this unseasonably warm Michigan September. I've had a lot of 80 degree days, and you know, Michigan is pretty hit or miss. With if it's gonna get really cold really fast, or if you're gonna get an actual fall, or if it's gonna be 80 degrees and then just one day it snows and then it's wintertime.
That's starting to look like what it's probably gonna be this year.
Yeah. So I've been enjoying that. It's almost the end of September, and I've been able to keep taking my turtle outside to walk around, and Been got my smoker going right now, making some chicken legs for dinner for when we're done recording the podcast, and I I would like it to have an actual fall. I'd like to have an actual Michigan fall would be very nice,
Boo.
but
Boo.
I will take the warm weather instead of the cold weather. If we were gonna go right to wintertime, I'd much rather it be 80 degrees.
You know, I mean, I'm assuming a lot of our listeners are from Michigan, but if you are not, it it went from, because the Renfest, when he was talking about the Renfest earlier, that was really like the genesis of like when it got hot and then it just stayed hot again. Because it was like, what would you say, Hunter? Like high of 60, 65 for like 2 straight weeks. And then when we
Yeah.
went to the Renfest, it got up to like 82.
For context, the Monday before the Renaissance Festival, when I went to work, I was wearing a sweater and a little bit chilly. And then at the Renaissance Festival, it was 85 degrees and like 70 or 80% humidity.
It was wicked, dude. Like it was rough. And it has been consistently high 70s, mid 80s. And there was like 2 or 3 days where Jess was like, she comes out in like you know, like fall leggings and like a long sleeve shirt or whatever. And she's like, "Is it hot outside?" And then I open the door and it's just like the sunbeams come in and immediately make the house hot. Like, babe, it might be a little warm. And there was I think last week when I went to the DMV, it was 101 degrees in my car. Like the temperature gauge on my car said 101 degrees. And when I looked at like what the temperature was, like what an average, which I don't know how you get an average in the fall in Michigan. Like how do you even average it out? Because it'll be 1 year it'll be 50, 1 year it'll be 100. But like it was 18 degrees above what the average should be for that day in September. I think it was the 17th. So it's like that is crazy to me.
Yeah, I'm wondering how long it will be warm into October. You know, if we're gonna actually, it's gonna be pretty hot because it was pretty warm last year for a while, but I
Yeah.
remember it was snowing lightly on by Halloween. So, or on Halloween it was snowing a little bit.
Yeah, I think you are right because it was a cold Halloween and then it was a warm New Year's. Well,
Yeah,
it got cold at night, but it was like 55 on New Year's. Yeah, yeah, I think you're right about that, bro. Because I think the year before it was a really warm Halloween. I don't know. I remember in the recent last few years, we actually had a Halloween where you could like go outside at the bar and it not be like shivering and crying. And hopefully that'll be this year because like it's supposed to rain all week, which also for for a lot of people who haven't been paying attention or don't live here, it also has not rained in like a month and a half. So it's been just like ridiculously hot and dry, like not dry, but like, very humid. But like everything's been dusty and gross and my grass is dead. And then today it literally rains like 8 inches in fucking 30 minutes. And it's like, motherfucker, dude. Because I know I'm going to have to start cutting my grass again right before it gets cold.
yeah. We actually got some rain here last night, but not enough to really help out. I've been having to water the plants I have on my deck so much.
Well, I think I seen on Friday that Michigan had posted their water numbers for the last 2 months. And I think only north of the thumb. So, like, if you were to draw that line all the way
Mhm.
across, I think everything north is like slight drought to no drought, and then everything below is heavy, severe drought in Michigan. Like, it is like really, really dry. Which, I mean, today really started to offset that. And I think it's supposed to rain the rest of the week, and it's going to cool down a little bit. But when you started talking about the heat, I looked. It's going to rain for a few days and be like low 70s, and then it's going to go back up into the high 70s. So, I mean, I don't know, dude. I'm going to keep it optimistic. Hopefully, this is a nice, warmer, because obviously it's not going to be able to stay this hot forever, but hopefully it is a warmer October. Like 60 degrees October days would be really nice. Like mid 60s, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I would like again warm enough that I can happily walk to work, but not so hot where I'm dying. But this at night it's still been getting pretty cold. So at like 40
Yeah.
degrees at night and then 80 degrees at day or during the day is beating my sinuses up pretty bad. But
I was
again,
going to say, I've been
I'm happy
feeling
overall
icky.
about it.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean, dude. Like, it sucks going to school and I mean, school. What the fuck? going to work in a sweater and like having to turn the heat on and then literally having to put a tank top on after work because it's so hot. Like that is like that's not even how do people live in this? This is ridiculous. I'm so sick of it, dude.
No consistency.
But alrighty, brother, we are coming up on time, so I wanted to quickly give a little update on some Michigan sports. Michigan State was heavily the underdog over the weekend, and they ended up actually losing to USC, which is in the top 25. They were getting their absolute ass whooped in the first half, and it was really sad. And I was like, I got to turn this shit off. Also, really late game. Didn't even start till 11:30. But they ended up coming back in the second half of the game, but then ultimately ended up losing, which was a big bummer. Michigan won, but they didn't win like they won by just a few points against a very low team. So I'm starting to lose all hope for Michigan this year as well. Today, the Lions play, and they are playing against one of the highest ranked teams of the year. This is NFL now, not college, obviously. The Ravens are basically like in like the top 3 teams for the year. It's like them, Green Bay, and I can't remember the other one off the top of my head. So, I mean, if we win today, if we win tonight, because it doesn't even start till 8:30, which is funny. Ryan was like, "Hey, bro, can I come over and watch the Lions game?" And I'm like, "Nah, dude. It's gonna be at 8:30. Me and you are both gonna be in bed. Let's be realistic here."
Or really mad.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been cool for him. Like, if he can come over next, I'm gonna try to maybe convince him to go tailgate or something with us next week or whatever. But yeah, it's gonna be a hard game. Honestly, I don't have super high hopes. But after the complete ass whooping that the Lions gave Chicago last week, I think it was 54-20, 21, something like that. Maybe they're in a good groove and they know how Baltimore's playing. They're playing really hard in certain aspects. I think if we completely get rid of Goff, just throw him out, never let him come back into the city of Detroit again, and focus on a few of those things that the other team does really well, I think we have a chance, but it's going to be a rough one. So we'll keep you guys updated on that next time we record. You got anything else for us, brother?
I think not. I think just mostly look forward to Dungeon Crawler Carl Book 1 review coming up. I don't think I have any video games super on my radar until Battlefield 6 comes out.
So excited.
Me as well. Well, thanks everyone for listening, and peace out.
Bye.